Well, good evening. On behalf of the person that invited you to this Zoom, on behalf of the person that loved you enough to talk to you about this technology, we want to say welcome. Welcome to Testimony Tuesday. We are so incredibly excited for you to come in and hear the testimonies of the last few weeks of what has been going on in every single person's life that we know and all of us love that have been using this technology. My name is Brittany Francis, and this is Rick Francis, and we are so excited to share this evening with you. So, what we're going to be doing quickly is we are going to be talking to you about a technology called the X39. And as we talk about that technology, it's going to be very short science presentation of how this technology works so that you understand why you're hearing the testimonies that you're hearing. And then we're going to open it up for testimonies. And then after that, we'll close just after about 25-30 minutes. And we're going to ensure that we can answer questions for you. So excited to share this evening with you. If you are excited after you hear about this, we'll tell you what to do. Get back to the person that invited you to this. But do know that this technology is about to change your life. So with that, welcome to the X39 Testimony Tuesday presentation. Now, these testimonies that you're about to hear are going to be completely different from your testimony. Why? This technology is actually in the stem cell world. Okay, so we do not treat or cure chronic diseases or illnesses. The LifeWave phototherapy patches that you're about to hear about do not heal or cure people. What they do is they help the body activate, and the body actually activates and heals what it needs to heal. So we're going to talk about the stem cell technology right now. So why the stem cell activation technology? By the time we're 30, half of our stem cells go dormant. That means that they go to sleep. Okay. By the time we're 60, 90% of them go dormant. And the fewer stem cells that you have, the faster you age, the slower that you heal. So very important to know, because when you're children, you just fall, you get right back up, right? You're a walking healthy stem cell. Okay. But important to understand that the older that you get, the more you break down, that significant decline begins to happen. So it's important to understand that, because the stem cells are a hot topic. All right. Because the older that you get, the more you hear about stem cells and going and getting injections of stem cells. Okay. So let's talk about what stem cells are. Stem cells are actually undifferentiated cells, which means they have the ability to turn into whatever cell is necessary in the body at the time. That's why you can go and actually get stem cells injected, okay? And they could be locally injected inside the knee, and they have the ability to turn into whatever the knee is needing, okay? So they're the master building block of the entire body. But if you have your own stem cells that become awake and alert, they actually have the ability to travel and triage and fix the different areas of the body that need to be fixed, because the body sees whatever the issues are. So it's their job to naturally repair and naturally renew. If you were to go and burn your hand on your stove and you were to have awake and alert stem cells, what will your stem cells do? Your stem cells will actually have the ability to travel, triage, turn into whatever it is that is necessary for your hand to be able to move and heal again. So they can turn into nerve cells. They can turn into muscle cells, whatever it is that your body needs. That is why it's important to understand that every single person's testimony that you hear on Tuesdays are always going to be completely different from one another. The stem cells take care of inflammation. They help regeneration. They help fight viruses. They help energize. Whatever the body is needing to do, those stem cells can do it. Now, to bring validity to the company, David Schmidt is actually the founder and the CEO of LifeWave and the X39 technology that we're going to be talking about. Okay. He has over 200 patents. David Schmidt was actually contracted by the government over 20 years ago to come up with something that the Navy SEALs could use that would keep them awake for 24 to 36 hours straight, ready for combat. Okay. So David Schmidt was an inventor. He was not new to the government. They knew him well because he actually did defense weaponry. They knew he was incredibly brilliant. So he went to work. And they said, look, David, it cannot be something that the Navy SEALs intake like a supplement. They said it has to be something that's outside of the body. So he began to study the body, and more importantly, he began to study chemical reactions that the body had. And he found that the body actually has chemical reactions to light through all kinds of different researchers from ancient Greece all the way to the 1970s. There had been all kinds of studies that the body actually reacts to different colors and different frequencies of light. Then, remarkably, deeper, he started looking at the body and he found that all bodies, all living cells emit light. Okay, so this is really important because light that is emitted from DNA actually initiates thousands of different chemical reactions in the body. And even more importantly, okay, those initial chemical reactions, that means that if there's a light that is applied to the body from outside the body will do amazing, incredible things. So he began to look at the body, studying the body, and he found that us as human beings, we emit frequency of light off of our body between 1 to 2 centimeters. Okay. And so he began to look at those different frequencies of light and he thought, what if I were to reflect and catch specific different frequencies of light? Would there be chemical reactions? And indeed, there were. There was a red light frequency that the body emits, and off of the body, okay, he found a specific red light frequency. And when reflected, the body elevated adrenaline. And the Navy SEALs began to use this technology. Stanford University got wind of this technology after the Navy SEALs were using it. They began to test it. They found that it was incredible, not putting any drug or stimulant. So this is the first ever, what you're looking at is the first ever photobiomodulation technology by David Schmidt, which is a reflection of frequency of light back in the body and the body elevating energy in that chemical reaction. Okay, so David Schmidt knew that he was onto something incredibly brilliant. So he began to use what is called an FTIR, and he began to use this to see, okay, what other chemical reactions does the body have with different frequencies of light if I catch them and reflect them back? He began to study stem cells and he said, my goodness, if I were able, if I were able to come up with something, some type of light frequency that we emit and reflect it back in the body and wake up dormant stem cells, man, we'd be in business. 10 years, $4.5 million later, ladies and gentlemen, why you're going to be hearing these testimonies tonight? The X39. We give you the first ever phototherapy wearable apparatus patent waking up stem cells due to the elevation of a GHKCU peptide. So this GHKCU peptide is the holy grail of healing, but instead of synthetically trying to put this peptide inside the body and the body using a synthetic peptide, the body actually, in a chemical reaction of accepting its own light frequency, the body elevates this GHKCU peptide. And in turn, ladies and gentlemen, stem cells are woken up. So it's a proprietary form of phototherapy. Okay, it's a nanocrystal technology. They are grinded down crystals, sugars, amino salts that are made into a perfect mirror image. And in that mirror image, what ends up happening is it reflects that frequency of light. And there are no chemicals, no stimulants, no drugs at all. Okay. Within the first few days, 4,000 genes begin to reset. So 70% of people feel a miracle between 5 minutes and 5 days because these genes are resetting. Okay. And then within 6 months, the brain becomes balanced. So PTSD, anxiety, depression, memory loss. And then within 3 months, your collagen is increased. Okay. So absolutely incredible. That's why you're about to hear so many different testimonies, because as the body begins to reset and do all the things that the body does, that's when you begin to get these different types of miracles that happen. And one testimony that we always want to bring in is my father-in-law, and I'm going to let Rick talk about that testimony just because it is so incredibly brilliant.
Okay, yeah. So my dad, I hadn't seen him in 12 years. He lives in a different country. So he was coming into town and, it just never hit me why is he coming in town, but he wasn't doing well. He was basically sick. He was told by the doctors, that he's got a heart condition, a kidney condition, and he refused, medication. He was coming to say goodbye. So we went, picked him up from the airport. He was there in a wheelchair. So not the man or the dad I remember last time I saw him. But basically, if you walk 30 yards, his ankles would just swell up, extremely big, looked like he was in a lot of pain. So luckily, Britt was very steadfast and said, "Hey, while you're staying here, you're going to need to patch." We got him on the patch, and in the 2 weeks, he had a little bit of relief, but not much. But thankfully, my stepmom continued to patch him. The only thing that he used was the X39, and 4 months later, he is walking, 4 miles a day, 5 miles a day. We got a video of him dancing, but the only thing he did was just the X39. He still never went back to the doctor. He didn't take any medication, but you know what? It saved his life, gave him a second chance.
So that's it. Okay. It's not anti-aging, it's age reversal, guys. So this technology is incredibly brilliant. Okay. At the clinical studies, after 3 years, they found that the telomeres actually lengthen. Okay. So absolutely incredibly brilliant. You are actually seeing that the age reversal after wearing this technology, average age reversal is 8.5 years after using this technology for longer than 6 months. So the X39 is incredibly sophisticated, but very, very simple to explain. We love Tuesdays now because they're going to be just open for testimonies from everybody in our group. If you're a guest, we want to say welcome, but we love encouraging one another and
Mhm.
hearing from each other what is happening in each other's lives. So the first testimony that I would like to call on, and then please, if you have a testimony, we want to hear from you. So just raise your hand. But the person that we would like to hear from first is Miss Kimmy, because we do have actually a slide that Miss Kimmy wanted everybody to see. So Miss Kimmy, you can just go ahead and unmute yourself and share with us what has been happening with you.
Okay, Brittany, I was introduced to the X39 last September, and what impressed me, or what I was listening to, was what you were talking about. At 30 years of age, 50% are gone. At 65, 95%. I thought, I'm 71, I've got nothing. And I was starting to see these little things just start going wrong. And I had a lot of inflammation in my knee and my hip. So I started the X39 in September. Quickly, within the first week, a lot of relief in my knee and my hip. It was just the pain was totally gone. Within 4 weeks, a friend of mine commented on the fact that my psoriasis had disappeared on my legs. Now, I had been battling that for 15 years. And of course, we all know that's an inflammation as well. But through the month of September, I began to read about the patches, and I added the X49 because I had osteoporosis. So, all these things are happening to me. And so I knew it's going to be a while before I saw the osteoporosis. I was in it for the long run, for the 7 months, the decade situation. So I was in it for that. But at 4 months, something really amazing happened. I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't go back to sleep. So I picked up my phone to read. And a little while after I read a little bit and got sleepy again, I laid my phone down and I went to take off my reading glasses and realized I'd never put them on. So I no longer wear my reading glasses. And that happened pretty quick. That was at 4 months. Well, knowing that I was working on bone density with the X49, I did a DEXA scan in April, which was 7 months after I started the patch. And I knew I had one to compare it to from 3 years ago. I've had osteoporosis for 20 years. Thank you. I broke my ankle in 3 places in 2010, and when the orthopedic surgeon got through with me, he said, "After we put this back together, we've got to work on your osteoporosis. It's as bad as I've seen." And I had done so much and nothing was helping. So I went on a strike 3 years ago and dropped all the medication and just said, I'm not doing anything else. So I know there was nothing in my system. When I did the DEXA scan in April, the doctor's office called me and she said, first place, your mammogram is amazing. And she said, in the second place, what are you doing? We don't show that you're on anything for osteoporosis. She said, we've looked through our files. And I said, I'm not. And she said, well, let me tell you, because I was going, oh my Lord, they're telling me it's worse. And she said, well, your results show a statistically significant increase in bone density. You are no longer considered to have osteoporosis. And you can see on this chart, it says, now it's osteopenia. And also, here's the statistically significant increase in bone mineral density. On one of the charts, it shows a 20% growth in increase in bone density. 20% is pretty significant. And so I'm excited. Now I want to get it even down more. But I turned my ankle a while, just about 2 months ago, Brittany, and I think the old Kimmy probably would have broken my ankle again. and it just kind of was sore for a few days and we went on. I stepped off a curb. What you're seeing at the top was the last thing I'm seeing. You know, when we talk about the age reversal, and we know that the clinical studies prove that if you stay on this product, the patch for 6 months, your heart's going to reverse 8 years in age. Well, I keep telling my kids I'm going to be younger than they are before this is over with. And so I have a lot of heart conditions in my family. My mom had 4 bypasses, my brother 5, my sister. So I've always been very cognizant of that. Across the top are some of the results from the last scan. And look at those. Everything is in the excellent range for females 70 to 79. I will tell you this, my sister stayed on the patch for 2 months and quit, and her results do not look like mine. And now she's back on the patch. And her bone density result does not look like mine either. And so she got back on the patch because she said this was proof to her that my body was healing itself, that I'd activated those stem cells and my body was healing itself. And I mean, the proof is in the data there. So
I absolutely love it. Okay. Well, who's next?
Brooke, go to Brooke. Just need to unmute.
Just go ahead and unmute.
You got it, guys? You can hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Okay, so I'm Brooke Reich. I'm an integrative health practitioner in College Station, Texas. And I originally got on this because someone said stem cells. And so I ran because I wanted to be able to offer my clients stem cells. So initially I was like, well, I've got to try this first. I have to know if it's going to work. So I had a knee issue. It wasn't a serious issue, but to me it was because I enjoy exercising and I enjoy box jumps and pushing myself to the limits. And so I was not able to do box jumps anymore, couldn't go into deep lunges, things that I was used to being able to do. I was like, I guess I've hit 40 and this is just the new me. So I put on the X39 and didn't even put it on my knee. I simply put it on the C7. That's it. In 48 hours, my knee issue had resolved itself completely. So of course, this got my attention. So then I continued to wear it. And then I started introducing it to clients. And I will tell you, I have numerous stories, but I do deal with a lot of people with detox, parasite detoxing, liver detox. That's a big thing we do. And one client came to me with severe gut dysbiosis and simply just could not have a bowel movement, for 5 days at a time. And so we put her on the patch for about a week. She was on it and immediately started having regular bowel movements every day. So that's pretty huge for females. We don't like to be uncomfortable. We don't like a bloated belly. So that was very big. The other thing I noticed last year that was very big too, and I think this is important to note because a lot of people are looking for all these different weight loss options. Well, you just need to stop and look at this because my sister got on X39 and 49, which we know those two together in combination create just an immense just a really good result together, honestly. They're a mother-daughter peptide team. So you can read on those, but we did those. We did SP6. And then at night she wore all Avita and Eon. So she was very patched up, but she got that metabolic switch. So from April to August, she lost 35 pounds. Her body didn't do that right at the beginning, but somewhere in the middle, she was able to hit that switch. She's in her mid-30s and she could drop the weight. So, and a lot of that was probably the inflammation she had going on. I've got a couple more, but one of the big things, I even posted this recently, this happened last week. My daughter had a really intense injury on the trampoline. She's 5 years old. She's prone to dislodging her elbow all the time. And I'm always having to put it back into place and she'll scream bloody murder. And well, anyways, she had a really bad injury where she fell backwards on it, twisted it, and she would not let me touch it for the entire day. So I sat her down and we patched her. We did no Tylenol, we did no ibuprofen. We simply patched her with an Eon and an X39 around the arm. And I even have a video of her. I'll share if y'all want to see it. But where she's crying, she's screaming like, "Don't touch my arm! You're twisting it." Literally within 24 hours, y'all, she was back using that arm like nothing had ever happened to it. And I really thought we were going to go get x-rays. I thought we were for sure going to go get x-rays because she had it just up like this, holding it the whole day until I put those patches on her. So before you go reach for Tylenol and lower your glutathione levels, and before you reach for anything over the counter, reach for the Eon and the X39. We didn't even use Ice Wave.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, that's what our question was going to be.
We did not even use Ice Wave. We just used the Eon. So the inflammation went down so fast. And you know that it can go down in 20 minutes. I mean, you see it, you feel it. So
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Brooke.
Yeah.
Sharon?
Hi, did you say Sherry?
Yep.
All right. Okay, awesome. I'm Sherry Reed. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. I started on the patches last July, so I've been on about a year. Where I started, I had sort of a compressed vertebrae in my back, and I was having a pinched femoral nerve, so nerve issue running down the front of my leg, stinging, burning, just random. I was actually getting ready to see a neurologist. So I started the patch, and the first week I started X39 and Eon. Put the X39 on the back of my neck, put the Eon underneath my belly. And the first week, I just noticed really great sleep, noticed energy during the day, and new bladder control that I had never seen before. But at 3 weeks, that issue in my leg with my back and that burning sensation down my leg just resolved and disappeared. So that was gone, and I kind of was amazed. I thought it would probably be back, but it never came back. At about 6 months in December, I had to wait till December to do this test, but I'm a celiac. I have high gluten sensitivity. I couldn't even eat anything with anyone that had ever touched gluten if they touched that food. So I would be sick for about 4 days. So at Christmas, when I had my Christmas break, I said, I'm going for it. Ate a donut, absolutely no sensitivity at all. And since December, I have been eating just normal food and never had any kind of reaction. And then finally, my last little bit, we've just kept on patching with those patches. And I've noticed that my recovery time with exercise has become basically zero. So I usually start swimming. I do like almost a mile by the end of the summer. My first day in the pool this year, I swam my mile without working up to it. So there it is. I'm 62 and I think my skin's looking better and softer. All the collagen's building up, hair's growing, all kinds of great things.
That's amazing.
You're so good. Oh, thank
Especially the donut. That's my favorite.
Yes, the donut from Shipley's.
you. It's awesome. Okay, wonderful. Okay, Miss Megan.
Hi, guys.
Hello. Share.
Good evening. Well, I have a lot to share, but first off, I'm going to read Evelyn Nelson's text that I received today. Evelyn is an old friend of mine. I've known her for a long time. Beautiful woman, loves the Lord, just a very spiritually beautiful person. Her husband, Don, he's an MIT physicist and only developed the Mercury for the space program. So these are very bright, talented people. I've known Evelyn only walking with a cane, only. And she's had a back issue for years and years. And so I saw on Facebook that she had broken her ankle about March and she had surgery. And she is 83. And I was really concerned. And I knew when she was not in Texas at the time. I knew she was coming, she and her husband, and I knew I had to reach out to her. So I did. And I went over to her home and we talked and then gave her a couple of patches, but she then purchased, she came as a brand partner. She used a couple and it wasn't miraculous, but she felt that she could, there was some relief, let's just say that, because the surgery, whether it was positive or negative, who knows? But the point is she was in more chronic pain than she was before. So this is her text. X39 is allowing me to take long walks, tour, manage stairs and restaurants as we navigate Anchorage, Alaska, and get ready to go to north to Mount McKinley. Best of all, my husband doesn't have to worry about me keeping up. At first, my shoulder, hurt because I wasn't used to all the walking with my cane. But X39 kicked in, and by late PM, there was no pain at all, which is so unusual.
That's so good. And how old is she?
83.
Oh my gosh. All right. I love it, Megan.
So the real net of the story, guys, is we'll do the follow-up to see when Miss Evelyn is going to throw the cane away. Okay?
Love it. Love it. And then send us a picture of her throwing it over
Amen.
into the ice. I love it. That's so good. So good. Okay, awesome. And then Megan, real quickly, how long have you been patching?
Well, I started patching in 21, May of 21.
Okay.
But I do want to add that I have lost 40 pounds, meaning from May 21 to let's say 23, I was pretty religious, utilizing it and introducing it to my patients at our wellness clinic. But then I started religiously using it again, really religiously in November of 24. And I have lost but I started in 22-ish, losing some weight very gradually, but I've lost an accumulation of 40 pounds and my hair has all grown back.
I love it. I love it.
I had a huge bald spot in the top, and I'm going to get a photograph from my hairstylist. We talked yesterday about it. He has documentation. So
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Miss Megan.
thank you, love.
All right, I just received a message. Miss Deetra, if you can turn on your camera so we can find you and you can unmute yourself, we'd love for you to share your testimony.
Here, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Do you have your camera on? Let me see if I can find you. Okay, go ahead and speak, my dear.
I only see black, but okay. Hi, I am Deetra. You might see me on here as Dee Dee. My kids have decided when I have grandchildren, that's what I'm going to be called. So I'm trying to wrap my head around that. I'm in Houston. I have been patching almost exactly 1 month plus 2 days. 1 year ago, I was diagnosed with a torn meniscus in my left knee and was walking into a restaurant for lunch with my husband and turned the corner and my knee just completely gave out on me. And the pain was absolutely excruciating from the bottom of my foot all the way up to my hip. And immediately days later went in to see the orthopedic doctors. And yes, of course, you have to have surgery. It's just a scope procedure right now, but further down the line, you'll have to have a complete knee replacement. And for various reasons, we did not opt to have the surgery. And for a year, I was basically debilitated. Couldn't walk, couldn't get up from a chair, couldn't sit down in a chair, couldn't squat on the floor, sit on the ground, bed, could do nothing. And a very dear friend of mine, Wendy, I said I wasn't going to get emotional. Here I go. Called me and said, I think I have found something that might help you. Can you meet me at my office on this day? I have a friend that's going to come and help. And I said, sure. At this point, if anybody would have told me I had to shoot myself in the foot to get better, I would have asked for the gun. And so I showed up that day, not even knowing what to expect. And I honestly don't even remember if you guys, Brittany, if you shared anything with me about what was happening. I didn't care. And I had jeans on and I sat on this little couch in the office with my leg out. And she first put the X39 back here on the back of my neck. And then she had the 2 ice wave patches and she said, where do you hurt the most? And it was all over. And I could barely even pick my leg up off the ground to try and pinpoint a specific spot. And when I did, she, with the peel apart part still together, she put one where I hurt the most, and she put the other one, I think, on the back of my knee. And she said, okay, I want you to count to 15, 20 seconds and then pick your leg up and tell me what you feel. I feel like my leg almost shot up in the air because I was expecting it to hurt or to struggle to try and pick it back up. And there are no words to express how I felt in that moment, nor how I have since then. And Brittany and Wendy, there are no words to express my thanks for both of you. And it's uphill from here. I even have my husband trying them. His sleep has gotten better. His snoring has gotten better. His sleep disturbances are better. I'm crossing my fingers on the whole weight loss thing. I'm going to wait for that. But, 1 month in, it's baby steps. And I also am going to talk about the hair thing. I worked really hard on getting this natural. So I don't want my hair to change color. So that I don't want to happen. But I am very excited and grateful, and thank God every day that I can actually function mostly normally again.
Oh, we love it. And you're going to just impact the world. So this is why we do what we do, y'all. That right there, Miss Teacher, look beautiful.
And you said that to me. You said that to me that day. This is why I do what I do. And I appreciate you every day.
Well, we just love you and we're so excited. It's just the beginning. Thank you so much, Miss Teacher. All right. So next we are going to call on who's next?
So Dave.
All right.
Dave and Di. There he is.
There he is. Hey, I got three things. I'll be quick. But first thing is I walk every morning. And I'll be 79 towards the end of the month. And I have knocked off 6 minutes off my time walking. And when I walk every morning, I do 3.5 miles. And that's my walking, my praying time. And I knock 6 minutes off my time. Number two, for 12 years, my doctor has been trying to get me on statins because I have high cholesterol. I told her it's not going to happen. I'm not going to get on statins no matter what. And she called me up first part of the year, and she said, I found something. It's not statins, but it's only going to cost you maybe a little bit more, but it's $900 a month. And I told her I thought she was she hadn't woke up yet because that ain't ever going to happen either. So anyway, I had my physical about a month and a half ago. I had my annual physical, and the results came back, and I dropped my cholesterol 60 points in 1 year. And so she hadn't called me to talk to me about that. And then the third thing is 2 years ago, I went in for my eye exam at Key Whitman, go in for my eye exam, take a picture of the eye, and she said, okay, your retina and your right eye is cut. It's not looking good. I might have to refer you to a surgeon, a retina surgeon. We're gonna have to go ahead and operate on your eye. She said, I want to look at it for a little while longer. Let me try one more year. I said, okay, no problem. She said, is it bothering? I said, no. So anyway, last year I went in, same thing. It hadn't got worse, hadn't got better, but it was okay. I go back this year, and I've been on the X39 since June, probably middle of June last year. I go on the X39. I go in there for my exam. She does the picture and everything else, and she says, I can't believe it. She says, it's a miracle. I've never seen anything like that. Your right eye is flat. It's level. It's filled in. So Diane says, it's the patches. She said, I don't know anything about the patches, but I know that's a daggum miracle. I've never seen it done without surgery. So I don't know if she's going to ever bother with me or not, but the bottom line is it got better, got healed by using the X39. So that's my story.
I love it.
Thank you, Dave.
So good.
All right, let's go to Patty Hannah.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I just wanted to share, I did share this about myself. About 3 weeks of being patched, I had an appointment to go to a dermatologist because I had a huge, like a mole on my jawline. So I was going to the dermatologist in the middle of April, and I was patched for about 3 weeks. And before I even got to my appointment, it was a crusty mole. I can't describe it. And the dermatologist never got to see it because the mole just disappeared right off my jawline. It was completely gone. She couldn't even see it when I went to my appointment. I explained to her why I was there, and I said, I don't know if you could see anything. And she said, there's nothing there. So I told her about the patch. I said it had to be. I was actually even looking on my pillow to see if there was something there because it was gone. It was just completely gone. So that was like so crazy. So then I patched my husband. I was hoping he was going to stop snoring, but that didn't happen yet. But I'm waiting for that. But he has a huge ganglion cyst on his forehead. So I said, you should patch, it would help with that. Well, it was about 2 inches in circumference. It was getting bigger. When he went to his doctor, the doctor said, you're going to have to see a surgeon for that. You're going to have it removed. So he is in his second month of patching. The cyst is half the size it was a month ago. It is half the size. I couldn't even believe, like sometimes I don't even notice it because I see him every day. And even my daughter said, Daddy, that's getting bigger. And now it is half the size. You have to really like look to see it. So I know it's going away. It's unbelievable. So we're so excited. And then the other day, I always wear my glasses at home and wear contacts out. And when I get up in the morning, I have to put my glasses right on. And I got up and I'm doing things in the kitchen and I just like, I was startled and I was like, I don't even have my glasses on and I can see. I know I couldn't read anything, but I could see everything I was doing. So I know my eyesight is getting better. It's getting better. So that's my story.
And Patty, where are you from?
I'm from Rhode Island.
Oh,
Little Rhode Island. Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
we're so excited you're with us, Miss Patty. What a testimony. Thank you for sharing.
Thank
Love it.
you.
It's just the beginning, a couple months in, just the beginning.
Yes. Yes.
So we're so excited about tonight, you guys. Just incredible testimonies. We're so grateful for everyone that shared tonight.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing because that's what it's about. Britt talked a lot about the science and how it works. This is the stuff right here that I just love to hear. It's just win after win for people, right? And that's what we're all doing this for, right? Is for our own gains. And these testimonies are just simply amazing. Every single one is simply amazing. And that's just the power of the X39.
So what we're going to do is we're going to finish this. We're going to just finish this piece. And if you're a guest with us, what we want for you to know is that it's going to help you. The benefits of the X39 are unending. From increased strength to reduced inflammation, you have heard it all. But energy and vitality and mental clarity, if you had long COVID, the answer is yes. 70% of people feel a miracle between 5 minutes and 5 days. 97% of people feel a miracle within 90 days. So you heard how long some people have been using this technology, and for some of them it wasn't overnight, but it is happening. So David Schmidt is just an incredibly brilliant man, an incredibly caring man that just wanted to bring wellness to a whole new level. And so we're so incredibly excited to be with this company. We're so incredibly excited that you joined us tonight to hear these testimonies. This Testimony Tuesday is to give you hope that there is an answer. It's so exciting. So where you're going to what to put the patches, okay? You're going to put them where you need it, okay? For patent purposes, remember, you cannot patent placebo. For patent purposes, underneath the belly button and on the back of the neck are the two places that LifeWave chose. But if you have an arm issue, if you have a back issue, if you have a neck issue, if you have a hip issue, whatever it is, put it where it hurts. Put it where you need it. Yep. Okay. Wear it 12 hours a day. You can take it off. You can put it on your dog if you love your dog. Next week, next Tuesday, we're going to hear some testimonies about pets. And so you can put it on your dog. The second that it touches your body, it activates. Okay. And so it's made of that mirror image, and your heat and your light frequency break down that mirror image. So incredibly important. So remember that what we want you to do is we want you to get back to the person that invited you to this. David Schmidt is so brilliant. There is going to be a documentary released about this gentleman. That's how incredibly brilliant this technology is. They got a hold of it. This producer got a hold of it, and he said, "What is it?" to his wife. "What is it that you're putting on me?" And she told him, and he said, "I feel amazing." And so he actually met David Schmidt, was absolutely incredibly blessed by it. So the technology is just meant to wear it, share it. If there are testimonies that you have heard tonight, but you wanted to hear more, thisisit.info.com is going to be the place that you're going to go to. Okay. So from neuropathy to stroke, whatever it is, the answer is yes. Okay. Yeah. But if you want to hear more, then you can absolutely go to thisisit.info.com, and you can look at the patents, look at the studies, see what doctors are saying, and you can actually have access to Dr. Zooms, which we are going to tap on here in a moment. So make sure that you take a screenshot of this, ladies and gentlemen. And, just remember that people are praying for this. We know that you might be praying for this. My grandmother, she was diagnosed with memory loss, and she was praying for it, and she didn't know it existed until we put the patch on her. Now she's ornery. She's back to her Sicilian self. That's why, Patty, we loved your accent. Our whole family's from Connecticut. So, she's back to herself. I have my grandmother back. Yes. So absolutely incredibly brilliant. You want to get back to the person that invited you to this. Okay. What were you going to say?
Yeah, just always remember the most important testimony is your own.
Yes.
So put the patch on, and you're just going to be amazed.
Yes. So you can become a retail customer, and the person that invited you will tell you about that. You can become a preferred customer, or you can become a brand partner if you want to share this technology with the people that you know and love. The core is just to see if it's right for you. The advanced, if you're a married couple, then absolutely you want to jump in at the advanced. And then the premium is my husband and I jumped in at premium because we have 4 kids and all of us were jacked up, and so everybody needed it, and so we did that. But either way, just wear the patch, like Rick said, wear the patch. Now, I do want to push and impress one piece of this. If you say, "Well, I want to hear even more," listen, tomorrow night, workwithchampions.com, passcode WAVE. This is not to put on social media. This is for you to have tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock Mountain Time, 6 o'clock Pacific Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. There is going to be a doctor's Zoom, a medical practitioner's Zoom tomorrow night that you can actually key into. There is going to be a very well-known doctor plus 4 other doctors that are going to be sharing about this technology. It's going to be incredible. So if you get back to the person that you love, you say, "Do you know how many people need to hear about this in my life?" Get them on tomorrow evening, guys. It's going to absolutely, this is a game changer. So we're so incredibly excited that you joined us this evening. Thank you for being a part of this Zoom. We are so incredibly excited to hear about your testimony. Within the next couple weeks, hopefully you'll be raising your hand saying, I've got a testimony. And we are just so incredibly excited to hear all the things that are going to happen for you guys and every single person that you know and love. So God bless every single one of you. Get back to the person that invited you to this and get your very own testimony. We will see you tomorrow night on the Medical Zoom. Good night.